Hey y'all, what's happening? So it's a little dark, but shit, it's fucking what I'm feeling right now, really. So, I've been on this journey to change my life. And I guess God was like, yo, you're not doing it fast enough. And so he's put certain things in front of me. Now, I've never really done this before, and nobody really knows this except for a very small group of people. And then people don't really watch my videos, so not a lot of people gonna watch this. This is really for me. So Joyce Meyer said she writes a diary. She's written a diary for a lot of her life, and it's helped her. And I ain't one for writing, but I'm damn good at talking, so I figured I'm not gonna just talk to myself. I don't get anything from it. Maybe that one person that does watch this, maybe they'll get something. And sorry it's dark, I'm walking my dog right now. But yeah, I just feel that I need to do this, man. And how? Well, I think it's the 23rd or 24th today of August. And I have to, lawyer recommended, go do some anger management courses. And I gotta do some volunteer work. And so I was charged back in April Fool's. It's funny, April Fool's. So an incident happened where I was charged with assault causing bodily harm. So right now I'm presently going through this whole situation, which takes forever to deal with. But so it really did something to me, man. And so my lawyer's like, hey, you gotta go and do some community service, and you gotta go and do some anger management, and just to make it look good, get a character references, blah blah blah, rate. That's what I did. That's what I'm doing. And so now I was on the part where I was like, hey, I need to do some volunteer work. I'd rather do volunteer work with something I care about, I like, and I want to do, rather than some stupid shit that I don't care about. So I was like, hey, why don't I go and do this whole church? This guy at the church, he operates a food bank. So I was like, hey, why not help him there? And the only thing I gotta do is minister to people, and I know a bit about God, and and I definitely could use my testimony, and so I went to him. I was like, hey, this is what I need to do. I was like, I could go to jail if the judge doesn't see fit that I'm doing the right thing. And what I loved about it is he doesn't give a shit about me going to jail. He gives a shit about me going to hell. He's like, okay, cool. We talked a bit, and he's like, I liked you from the first time I met you, but I saw a weakness inside you. And I was like, what? I don't know what he's talking about. Mind you, I knew exactly what he's talking about. And so I was like, okay. He's like, you know what? You got to get right with the Lord, because this is my ministry, and this is how God is using me. Basically, this is what I got from him. He's like, basically, if I let you in there and you ain't right with the Lord, that's going to affect me. And I was just like, daggone it. I said I'm about to go. And I left that meeting with him happy, sad, confused, scared, because I know that my lawyer's like, yo, the video doesn't look good. All this stuff doesn't look good, Bryce. You gotta really do something. So I'm like, hey, let me do something for God. But it wasn't a selfish reason. It was so I don't go to jail. Not because I wanted to worship and serve God and worship God with my actions and blah, blah, blah. It was so I don't go to jail. Is to, doing something for the church is really a get out of jail free card. And he's like, and the guy's like, well, yeah, you can. I don't mind having you at the, at the food bank, but you need to get yourself right with God. And I was just like, boy, I'm about to go to jail. They asking 6 months. 6 months. I've never been to jail a day in my life. That's some scary shit. Yeah, I'm a big guy. Yeah, I can fight, but that's jail. And so I was dealing with that, and I was like, fuck, now I'm scared shitless. I don't know what to do. And obviously there's other programs out there, but I didn't want to do that. So I was really pissed off, really. I was scared and pissed off, and then I got really scared and really sad and whatnot. And I opened up the. Actually, I was talking to talking to a guy from work, and he's like, I think what did he say? I think he said he was Hindu or something. I don't really remember. I believe he said he was Hindu, and he explained to me that Hinduism believes in, like, not against any religion. It's just, like, open to everything. And so he's like, he's been to church, and he really loves the whole fact of God and what he stands for and stuff. And I was like, well, the main thing for me is not to go around the world beating my drum and speaking, like, the actual word, like, 1 John 5:11. It's to show people love, because ultimately that's what God is. God is love, and I feel that, my opinion is, when you bring love into it, people can't really fight that, And so he's like, really? So he's like, and I was explaining to him, I was like, and this is what I was telling the guy, right? And I was like, so God, you can't ever separate yourself from the love of God. Like, it just. That's just impossible. It's like, you can't do it. Like, it's not happening, And he's like, you can't? I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, if you murder somebody, God will still love you. If you rape somebody, God will still love you. If you beat on somebody, God will still love you. There is nothing physical in this world that will separate you from the love of God. Now, go back to the meeting that I had with my brother from church. He said, Bryce, you gotta realize that you gotta stop seeing yourself in what you see yourself, or what you've accepted that other people said about you. But you gotta start seeing yourself as God, how God sees you. And I got it, and I almost wanted to cry in front of him, but I had to grab my balls, and I was like, I ain't gonna cry. But oh boy, I wanted to. And it's gonna be a long one, but I just need to get it out. So he's, so he was saying, you're an amazing person, Bryce. You really are a good guy. You're really this, that, and the other. You really understand what God says about you, and that's what you should care about, and that's what you should dwell upon, not dwell on what other people say about you and what you've accepted and you start saying about yourself. Brother today, sent me something. I worked with him a couple times, and he's a real badass dude. Served in Canadian Armed Forces and gave his life to Christ Jesus, and he's an amazing dude. I love him. I've only met him one or probably like 3 times, but I can see his heart, and it's really, really amazing. And so I got a message from him on Facebook today, and I seen it, and it said, it was a pastor, I think Joshua Feinstein, Mark Feinstein, something like Feinstein, something, I can't remember his name. He put a message out there on Facebook, I guess, and this particular message was like, it said you're an awesome person. And it's funny when you believe that you're not, when you're really in yourself, right, and you're really down and distraught and stuff, God will use somebody, something, a particular instance, a particular situation, and just speak to you a message that you really need and the time that you really need. And I really needed it at that time today. And then, you know, I was listening to Joyce Meyer just now, and you know, she's like, you know, we're all in our pit, and you know, she's like, she was talking bad about her father that messed with her when she was a child, and that was her thing. That was like the big thing that was weighing her down. And I'm just like, I really hold grudges against other people. Like you could really do me some real bad things, and like I figure things out as a job, you know what I mean? Like, if you punch me, I'm gonna punch you back. It's not because I hate you, it's just because that's what you deserve at that moment. You punch me, I punch you back. It's a very simple concept, you know? You rob for me, I'm gonna make sure that you get arrested. I'm gonna tackle you, probably give you 1, 2 little, you know, little love taps, and then I'm call the police and, you know, carry on. I'm not gonna hold a grudge against you, you know? I'm not gonna hate you. You know, I got bottled. I don't know if you could see it. Yeah, right there. I got bottled in my head, and you know, it was a fight. I didn't really care. And you know, right now we're going over that. I gotta talk to the cop what happened to that guy. But you know, I was just like, hey, you know what? I don't have a grudge against that guy. I lost 1.5 liters of blood off of that guy. I don't hate him. You know. And, you know, it was a bar fight, and he did that to me, and I defended myself. And, you know, that was it. That was all. I don't have any grudge against him. I was molested, you know, when I was a child, and, you know, other things have happened in my life. I don't regret or hate other people, and certain people in my life have said things about me that I still hold today, that, you know, it hurts me, but I don't really think bad or negative about anybody ever. Like, I really don't. You know, when people are like, oh, you gotta stop hating other people, I'm like, I don't. Like, I love other people. You know, and I love other people so much. I think I love other people so much. Oh wow, this is really deep. I love other people so much to compensate for the hate I have for myself. Whew. That was one I didn't see coming. Yeah, that's fucking deep as fuck. And you know, Joyce Meyer was just talking, and whew, oh god, and oh, this is go through some times, y'all. And so Joyce Meyer was talking, was like, yo, you gotta stop, you know, talking about other people, and you gotta start giving them glory. And I realized it's not that I got, and that's why I was a little confused for a while in my life, because everybody's like, you gotta stop talking about people. I'm like, I don't think about other people as bad. And she said one little thing. It wasn't a big part of it, but like her message, but it was a little part. And that little part was, you gotta forgive yourself. Oh boy, ain't nobody told her to say that stuff. She said you gotta forgive yourself, and that was the hard part. I can forgive everybody, you know, but myself, that's the hard part for me. You know, I talk so much shit. I talk so much shit about myself, you don't even know. And she says, anytime you talk shit about that person, now I changed it, because now I understand. You know, basically, every time you talk shit about yourself, it's you know, it's glorifying the devil. Anytime you talk bad about yourself, you're glorifying the devil or that individual, you know, whoever that particular person was for you, or people are. And I was just like, whoo, that's deep. And I was just like, well, daggone it, man. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna do another one right here, because it's gonna be a long one.